Hello, Eli Coberly here with my video about the Mayans in the ancient site of Coba in the Yucatan Peninsula. And this site, Coba, was famous for its white roads, aka Sacbe. So the Sacbe was this metaphorical journey for the land of the Maya. And what is this journey about? Well, it was about a couple of things. It was about migrations, moving from site to site, maybe commerce or trading, but also the underlining tone and theme of the Mayan white road was the cosmovision. And this cosmovision was about the Milky Way. And the Milky Way has great significance in the, say, cardinal directions. And there's in the four corners in all indigenous tradition is a illustration of the cross, los cruces, the crosses. So these crosses were so important to the Mayans that they actually made references to these cardinal directions in color, as well as types of energies. And so these energies had different patterns and things to learn through the personal transformation. But most of this white road goes back to the journey to the underworld. And the Mayans believe that when you die, like so many other indigenous cultures around the world, that when you die you follow this white road. And this white road is sort of like your soul's journey to the underworld. And they believe in protection in this underworld. So I believe that this was a death practice. This was a practice of letting go. So the Mayans had this idea that if they could metaphorically make this journey in all aspects of their life, that it could sort of cut through the illusions. And when you talk about illusions and the word Maya, well, Maya in the Vedic tradition, in Hindu mythology, was an illusion. So I believe that the real reason why the Mayans were here in the grander picture of the scheme of things was to actually, once you visit these sites, that you can actually transform your illusions. So it was through these illusions that the people, when they come visit, they can sort of go into a place in their heart, in their life, where they can make changes for the positive. And so if the Mayans believed in this cosmological vision, they also believed in cyclical time, and they kept good track of it through generation after generation of observing the sun, moon, and stars. So this really correlates with the bigger picture of things in long term, and we're talking about thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of years. So they actually had a way in their writing system to, in their glyphs, in their carvings and stelas on their sites, they had a way to explain all of this, and their writing system could actually track millions of years in advance and millions of years prior. And it was through these baktuns, 144,000 years, that they could count up mini baktuns. And so they actually had a much more advanced civilization in cosmology, mathematics, and building in their time period than most other civilizations around the world. So how does Sacbe, how does this, and how do the Mayan culture, how does this relate to now? Well, now we're in upheaval. There's war, there's destruction, and there's trashing of the environment. And you know, I'm a big yoga guy, so I study the Vedic tradition as well. And my current book that I'm writing, called War in the Hearts of Men, illustrates the war within the self and how that can be neutralized through recognizing polar opposites, sort of wars and struggles. And it's through these wars and struggles that we get to the nectar in the very center of our own being. And so on my next trip, I'm going to go to India, and India is full of of this ancient wisdom, and there's all this ancient wisdom happening all around the world, and the connection is quite fascinating, because if you look at all these civilizations, they had the same story, the same type of creation story. And so either it was through the cosmos, the illumination of these nadis, and so nadis in the Vedic tradition were actually pathways of nerve channels and also consciousness, which connected thought and the heart and the intention. So it was through this thought, heart, and intention where we could actually connect with other people around the world, just like the cell phones do today. But also there's another theory that I'm working with, and that is ancient sea time mariners, and those people who traveled the seas that our current culture chooses to ignore, because it would essentially wipe out the old tradition of Christianity and this way of colonization. See, it proves that we weren't the first ones, that we were not superior. So in essence, what I'm trying to do is illustrate through the Mayan culture the importance of oneness, the importance that we're all in this together, and where we can go from there. Because it is through the recognition of the illusion, the Maya, which we can eliminate the polarization. So then that in turn leads to the ultimate or the eventual deterioration of our current society, which is a model in my belief system that isn't working. And so essentially it's through these ancient cultures and through the feminine wisdom of the heart and the knowledge of the ancients that we can learn to create a better world and essentially wipe out the negative essence of the patriarch. So I know that's a lot, right? Well, it's important because things aren't working, so maybe there's a better solution. And I believe that solution is the Atman, the self, looking at the soul's journey and how we can further it. And you know, it's all very karmic, right? So thanks for listening to my video, and I really appreciate it. This is part 1 in a series of my War in the Hearts of the Men preview. Thank you.